Hi everyone, it's Crystal, and today I want to talk to you about tracking your menstrual cycle and why it's so important. Tracking your cycle is a really easy way to get to know your body better. Tracking can also offer you insight on any emotional or physical patterns you might experience throughout your menstrual cycle. There are many different ways you can track your cycle. The most popular is by using a cycle tracking app on your phone. If you are new to tracking your cycle, I highly suggest using the Clue app. It's easy to use and free. Now with saying that, I'm not sponsored or anything. Clue app has no idea who I am, but their app is really great. It's very well rounded and I really recommend it for beginners. It's a great place to start. Now, if you're not interested in using an app on your phone, that's totally okay. The next best thing for you would be to use a journal. If you enjoy writing, this might be a great option for you. Journaling is very therapeutic and it really lends well to menstrual cycle tracking because then you can track whatever you want. I personally use an app and a journal because I'm obsessed with tracking, but that's totally not something you have to do, or it could be something you do. Just find whatever works for you, because if you find what works for you, you're gonna stick with it. So when it comes to tracking your cycle, what should you track? So I suggest tracking the first day of your period as well as the last day of your period. So you also want to track your period flow. Was it heavy or light? Did you have any clots? What color was your flow? And then as well as any menstrual cramps or any pain that you experience. I also suggest tracking any cervical fluid changes. So cervical fluid or cervical mucus becomes more noticeable around ovulation. You might see a little bit of a discharge in your underwear, so it's always important to track that as well because it does change throughout your cycle and it is a completely normal thing. So I think it's really important to track that, or just be conscious of the sensations. So the next thing I suggest tracking is any emotions you feel. Our emotions do change throughout the month. Obviously they change every day, they change throughout the day, but it's just really important to do like an overview of how you felt every day. I know for me, I like to track that when I journal at night. I just give an overview like, hey, I felt really great, like I felt really confident, because those feelings do change and it's totally normal. And when you start to notice these patterns of feeling like really confident in your follicular phase and then maybe not feeling so confident in your luteal phase, you can start to understand that these are just hormone shifts happening. There's nothing wrong with you. Like, it's okay to have days where, you might feel super great and then the next day you might be like really annoyed at everything. It happens. If you're having like drastic changes or drastic shifts in mood, then that's when you would probably want to talk to a healthcare provider. And then of course, the last thing that I think is really great to track would be any physical sensations. So yes, that could be like cramps, but other things would be like headaches or migraines or anything kind of out of the ordinary that doesn't really make you feel great. So another really important thing to track would be your stress levels. Stress really affects your hormones. Another thing you can track would be your libido or your sex drive. Of course, illness is always a good thing to track because illness can affect your cycle as well. So if you have a cold or a flu or anything else going on, always good to track the days when you're struggling with that, because obviously in the long term, that can affect things. Another thing you can track is your hunger and your cravings. Now, before I get into that, I just want to say that cravings are completely normal. It's normal to crave calorie-dense foods in your luteal phase because during this phase, you actually burn more calories because your temperature is higher. So it's totally normal to be hungrier. And the reason why I suggest tracking your hunger or your cravings is because when you start to track that, you can start to see these patterns and you can start to understand that, like, I'm not crazy. This is just what happens in my luteal phase. Like, I am more hungry. And then of course you can prepare healthy, good meals, or you can prepare snacks to keep you satiated. And it's just a great supportive practice to get into because then at the end of the day, you understand why you want to eat everything. Now, if you're a beginner, all of those things are great things to track. And I highly suggest starting to track those things for a few months before you add anything else in, like tracking your waking temperature. Tracking your waking temperature is a very common tool used in a lot of fertility awareness-based methods. However, it's something that I would suggest doing after you have a bit of a grasp on menstrual cycle tracking already. Again, this is not something you need to do. It is completely optional. All of the things I talked about before this are like essential things you want to track, and then tracking your waking temperature, if you want to learn more about your ovulation and your ovulatory patterns, would be a great thing to add in. But like I said before, it's always a good thing to start with the basics and then build on top. So I hope this video gave you guys a lot more of like a framework on how to track your cycle and what are some essential things that you should be tracking to get like the best overview of any patterns that you experience. Of course, if you have any questions, please comment below. There is so much that you can learn from your cycle. It's such a great way to learn more about yourself, and it's such a supportive self-care practice. So I really encourage you to be curious and track your cycle and see how it impacts your life. Please give this video a like if you enjoyed it. Send it to a friend who might be interested in learning how to track their cycle. And please subscribe to my channel. It means a lot to me and I really, really appreciate it. As always, I just want to let you guys know that your cycle matters so much and I am here for you. So I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!